Welcome back to the beach and the European Beach Ultimate Championships 2019. Brought to you by BULA and the WFDF. My name's Tom Stiles, alongside me is Benji Rees, and we have the pleasure of bringing you this men's Masters division game between Great Britain and Ireland.
This is a feisty one, isn't it?
Yeah, 800 years of oppression will do a lot to fire up the team in green.
There is something about GB and Ireland that whenever these two teams meet, Ireland usually seems to get the better of them, even if they don't necessarily finish higher at the tournament overall.
They have been the bogey squad.
The bogey team, that's the one.
For a number of tournaments. I remember being at Windmill on the way to Great Britain competing at Worlds in 2016, and the Great Britain were fancied to have a good crack at winning World Championships, and they lost to Ireland at Windmill.
They had some. They're just one of those teams that always seems to have GB's number, and these two teams have actually met before in a warm-up tournament, and the Irish came on top on that occasion actually.
Driftwood, I think the
That's
tournament
the one.
was over in Ireland. So both teams coming in fired up. Men's Masters division always competitive, and the Great Britain Men's Masters team is largely the same staff as they had in 2017 at the World Beach Championships, where they finished 8th, and the disc from the Irish goes out of bounds at the start of this one.
Slightly mixed results for these teams so far. GB have played 2 and 1-2, a tight win over the Netherlands Masters 10-8, and they took down the Italian Men's Masters earlier today 13-4, more comfortable. The Irish, have played one extra game. They've played 3, and they've only won one of them. They took losses to Sweden 13-7, and they beat Denmark this morning in Universe 11-10.
Stobbs kicks us off with a quick pass to Povey downfield, a high-reaching grab from Whittle. Whittle looks underneath, spins the disc back to Stobbs. Stobbs has got cross-cutting, but a good bit of poach-off defence from the Irish, stopping that first pass going. Sends a floaty one in, nice grab going low to ground. Herman Kaiser for Great Britain pops that one in, and a first point clean hold for the offence. Yeah,
Kaiser, originally German, now plays Ultimate in the UK, played a lot with Kapow among some other on the other sides, and nice layout there to keep that alive. Good job moving the disc around from the Brits. Good to see early on a couple of some names more familiar to casual Ultimate players than the others. Cross and Stobbs have played together at Clapham for many years. Cross now does more of a coaching role, but he can certainly still throw a disc when he needs to, as he is this weekend. I'm not sure what his facial hair arrangement is. Usually, I've seen him rock at various points a most spectacular moustache, but I don't know what he's going this weekend. He's doing that trademark sun hat with a little flap out the back to stop that neck tan. I've seen that many Ultimate tournaments over the years.
Yeah, Jamie Cross started playing at a very similar time to I did, but he's gone on to great things in his field of Ultimate and coaching Ultimate and thinking about Ultimate. A great conversationalist when you get him chatting about the sport and why certain teams have had success, and a real analytical mind. The Irish come down with their first possession. Mark Early looks downfield. That's a nice inside shot to Cox. Cox, quick pass across to Kavanagh, but could not collect it.
Yeah, this is Zamora take off deep. He's a fast former sprint champion. The throw's not going to get to him at that rate. Just bladed too early and harmlessly hit the sand. Just going back early to Ireland's previous results. Easy for me to say. Obviously, we talked about they won a game in Universe. They've also lost a game in Universe to the French Masters, but obviously they lost one and then they won one. So maybe if we get down to that tight pressure situation, they've had more experience of that this tournament than the Brits have, and that might prove to be a key edge.
Early starting the disc for the Irish again, looks down the line, but there's nothing there. Zamora taking that option away. Fake back, he's going to have to take the deep shot downfield. It's going to be Kavanagh underneath it. Zamora's going to have to do the running to catch up. Oh, beautiful work all the way down to the back corner. Kavanagh read it in. He caught it fingertips and just drops himself outside. But last gasp disc from Early.
You're seeing the wind there come into effect. You've got to work the full length of the pitch to do it, and he just from one corner just put it up, had the right shape on it, and caught pretty much at the back of the end zone by Kavanagh. beat Zamora deep. See it again, fakes the around, gets his feet reset. And
he didn't really have an option. I don't think this was a particularly hopeful pass, but Kavanagh had the position, and look at that grab.
Well read, brings it in with the fingertips, but does enough to keep hold of it as he hits the sand.
Zamora could have been a little bit tighter there. I think he'd kind of given up the disc as either going out the back. He didn't chase it all the way in.
It felt to me a little bit like Kavanagh slowed up slightly in pursuit of that disc and sealed Zamora off before coming and exploding again towards it and making that catch cross. Now fields the ball and we're back underway for GB.
Stobbs. Quick pass to Whittle. Whittle looking back to Stobbs. And it goes over the fingertips of Stobbs. He's going to have to turn and go back, but there was nothing he could do. Watches it die in the sand. First possession on defense for Donnell Murray of Ireland. Oh, tries to send the disc back to Seamus Murray, but it comes off the fingers and into the sand. Double turnover, and the Great Britain team in white have it back. Stobbs to Northcutt. Northcutt back to cross. Stobbs available on the far side. Back to Stobbs. Northcutt coming underneath. Whittle has it now. Northcutt available on that far side. Back to Stobbs again. Cross got the arms in the air, ready to receive, so it's not crossed. That's Garbers.
What a hat that is.
Stobbs sends the big disc out to the side. Cross reads it all the way in and catches easily. What a disc from David Stobbs.
There's a reason Stobbs has made his name as one of the premier throwers in Europe, showing it there, pivoting out. Perfect disc for cross. Far too easy a catch than it should be off a throw of that length. We saw earlier with that first GB turn, Whittle didn't alter his pivot. He looked at the dump but didn't pivot around. It meant he had to get that backhand at a slightly awkward angle. The disc took the wind, the underside a little bit too up, and then later on with other dumps we saw, for example, Northcutt, when he turned to the dump, he squares his hips and looks at it, and it means he can get that flick out nice and flat and the wind's not going to take it.
Yeah, the breeze coming in off the Atlantic over to our right, behind the Irish end zone as the team in green line up. You can just see the waves in the background and the cliffs of the Praia da Rocha seafront behind the Great Britain line as they take this first disc. Send it high into the air. The pull from PLA. He comes to mark. 22 shirt of Corey Cox. Quick pass down to Alan Murray. Downfield, chasing again. It's going to be out of the back of the end zone. A very frustrated Rory Kavanagh could not repeat his heroics of the first point.
He really does cover the sand quickly, doesn't he? Seems like he's skipping off the surface.
Yeah, he's got an athlete's build, hasn't he, the 33 shirt.
Mathieu Pijola is going to walk towards the disc once more. Good chance to get the first break of this game.
Pijola from London, originally from Saint-Etienne. Started in 2007 with the Monkeys from Grenoble.
The team behind the Monkey Food Tournament in Bourg-en-Bresse, which is a highlight of many teams' European calendars.
Kaiser with the big disc downfield, but it's well read and marshalled all the way to the sideline by Corey Cox. Both these teams struggling to find flow in this point.
Yeah, certainly not the most fluid offense that we've seen. Kaiser's a bit of a wild card. We've seen him already on offense, and now he's playing on the D line. Never know quite what he's going to pull out of that locker.
Downfield, Kavanagh the target again, and Kavanagh gets the disc in his hands. No mistake from the Irish. Their deep shots to the number 33 shirt might be the only route they've had, but it's been very effective so far.
Yeah, Sam likes a turned shrugged at his teammates, not sure what he was supposed to do about that, maybe wanted a bit more help. But just think now from this point forward, you've got to back Rory Kavanagh. You cannot let him get behind you, because they've shown, especially in that direction, that they are going to put it, and he's got the speed to bring it in.
And I can't imagine that comes as too much of a surprise for this Great Britain team. And they played them in Ireland at the Driftwood tournament. Surely somebody of Rory Kavanagh's stature and his skill is, has been highlighted as one of their threats.
You'd think so, but obviously the thing is with warm-up tournaments is you never know exactly how much teams are showing you what they've got left in the locker. It could be that they didn't necessarily employ Kavanagh in that role, or maybe they did in the GB, just haven't adjusted for that. And you'd expect with ultimate brains like Stobbs and Cross that they'd be able to adjust for that.
And talking of Stobbs, he has the disc in his hand, and there is his Clapham teammate, Jamie Cross, in the 10 shirt. Back to Stobbs now. Nice break, backhand to Povey. Povey cranks up the arm and sends that spinning across the end zone. Jamie Cross in acres of space, but the disc from Povey was what made that space available. Takes the high five of the teammates. Great work from Dave Povey and Jamie Cross. And
cracks open that inside backhand oyster and finds a big ripe pearl of a throw. Just working its way across the field, just almost delicately, and right now twice now Cross has gone deep and had absolute just beauties of throws. Served to him pretty much on a plate, lifted the cloche, and it's right there for him.
Jamie Cross played World Beach in 2017 in Huayon, played with the open side, so he's one of the newest arrivals in this Masters squad. And David Stobbs collected his gold medal at the European Club Championships in Wrocław, Poland.
Nicely done.
Kavanagh. Back to early. Kavanagh still available. It's a zone look from Great Britain. Kavanagh got that disc out quickly and really needed to as well. Fast arriving feet from Mark Garbers. Irish moving it to the far side nicely. Keeley has it, and it's going to come back after a call. It's going to stand in the hands of Donnell Murray.
Luxor in conversation with the aforementioned Rory Kavanagh. Sorry, just saying the players resetting their positions.
Yeah, Joe Bampton, the 18 shirt for Great Britain, going to be providing coverage here, but doesn't even get a chance to get in position. It's already with Keeley. Looking down the line, floats one over to the far side. It's going to have to be a big bid. Kavanagh couldn't quite get there. Fingertips away.
Kavanagh is the target man. Everything is going up to him, and that time was just a touch too far for him to reel in on this big layout bid. So what this GB D-line offense has in store. I think it might be the first time just the second time we've seen them get the disc.
Harding down the line to Northcote. Northcote looked up the line, does again. This time finds Luxor. Luxor trying to find something. Stalkart getting high. Manages to just squeeze it out to Bampton. Bampton upfield to Harding again.
It's definitely a bit of a mess in that handler space, and finally trying to find the swing.
It was the right idea from Harding. There's a player over on that wing in the form of Mark Garbers, but the disc was never on, and he showed the underside of the disc to the wind. It rose over Garber's head straight into the stands. Luckily the back row were alert.
That release has got to be low and flat, otherwise it's not going to get there.
Early brings it, Mark Early, 2 assists on the scoreboard already. And he sends the one again. This time the target is McAuliffe, and he brings it in. Fergus McAuliffe catches for Ireland, and they're back on even terms. It's 3 apiece.
Different target, but that deep game for Ireland has been so effective. Northcote, the guilty party that time, getting beat deep. You see Garbers walking away. Managed to pick up someone else's hat on the way as well.
Well, Early has been dominating at the moment. His deep shots downwind. All the points have been scored in the downwind end zone. But he has all 3 assists
One of the great things about the Masters and all various Master divisions, you get the players who've been around the game for so long, they've put so much back into it as well. And Mark Early's one of the organisers of Dublin's Golden Cup, which is another peak tournament on the European calendar, and it's great seeing these players who put so much into the game and organise these fantastic tournaments getting a chance to show their stuff at this stage here.
A big arm of Seamus Murray. Quick disc from Stobbs to Cross. Cross sends it back to Stobbs and quickly forward to Kaiser. Back in, Cross. Stobbs has set off deep. Oh, Jamie Cross had a look at that option. And this time he floats it across the top. It's going to be Pilale running in and bringing it down. 4-3, all the points coming downwind.
Mathieu Pijola underneath that one. This time Cross has received a couple of juicy deep puts and he's making one himself. That time was losing the height match up there to Peter Ford, but got in position nice and early. Ford couldn't quite get a read on it, went over his head, and Pijola was there to make the catch.
He's had quite a stellar career across his European playing. Played with Monkey from 2007 to 2015, and also was at University in Cork in 2007. Played with the Woodies in Munich in 2011 and Kapow in London from 2015 to 2018, as well as going to EUCF in 2016 with Kapow.
So many of these Masters players are still playing at the top level in their home countries and across Europe as well. It's not a surprise to see them translate that to the beach.
Well, it's not been a clean game so far, but there's been no breaks. We've had 8 turnovers, but every time the offense has lost the disc, they've got it back. Can it be different this time for Great Britain, putting pressure on Ireland? Ireland have it. Disc across to Cox. Cox downfield. Quick dish off from Murray to Kavanagh, back to Cox now. This is better play from Ireland. Nice flowing movement, keeping the zone moving. James Cooper on the mark. Cox exchanges discs with Donnell Murray. Donnell Murray again. Kavanagh. Disc rises, but he's got his eyes well glued. McKenna. Superb work and play against the zone from Ireland. They've got space inside the end zone now. Trying to find a way through. Disc rising again into the end zone. Oh, that's superb from Ireland. The disc never stopped for more than 2 seconds, and they well deserved to bring it back level 4 apiece.
Beautiful movement, just taking what the zone was giving them, and eventually just enough passes to be able to work it through. 19 passes at that point, and GB Neri had a sniff of the disc.
And that's exhausting work running around in a zone out there. You go from one side of the field, you try to take an option away, never really managed to stifle the movement of the Irish team.
The only time the disc really slowed down was when it got near the end, and they did the right thing of swinging it back and hitting the break side. Ireland very effective against that GB zone. So you've heard the name Murray quite a lot. There are 3 Murrays on this team: Seamus, Donal and Allen. 2 of them are brothers, Seamus and Donal, and the other Allen is unrelated. So don't worry, it's not deja vu. There are that many of them.
Al Murray currently based in Sydney. I'm actually not sure how many of these facts are real.
Irish known for their sense of humour.
Yeah, I'm not going to read any more of Al's facts. Well, actually, some of them I know are true, so I will read them out later. But David Stobbs for Great Britain, trying to break the deadlock here in this men's Masters game. Oh, that was a huge layout. It really required to be. Stobbs is not known for his throwaways, but almost had one there. Wayward disc, but reeled in by Kaiser. Kaiser has it back again now. Northcote available. Disc goes back across to Whittle. Kaiser keeps the continuation cut going, and he's still going into the end zone now. Can he be found? Hill sends it back via Northcote to Stobbs. Northcote cutting in. Makes space. Whittle having to get his hands up. Only the touch on the first time of asking. Northcote's available in the front corner. Whittle with the assist. Great play from Great Britain.
Interesting, you see Stobbs isn't happy with himself despite scoring. He's one of these players who's known for the idea of kind of false positives when throwing. Just because you completed the pass doesn't mean it was a good pass. And a couple of times there, he popped discs up, once with the wind and once against it. And he'll know that he needs to alter that, because eventually these are going to be throwaways. First was a big bid from Kesa, which he maybe could have left for Hill, but wasn't going to take the chance. And that time, Whittle popped it up but got underneath it and read it in well. And then the continuation, Northcote caught the defenders napping and got his first goal of the game.
Yeah, I had so much time for David Stobbs. And I read a wonderful article written by Sean Brummy-Scone of an interview with Stobbs about his performance at a big week-long international tournament where he turned over twice in an entire week, and that's as a key handler for one of the top teams. And when he does turn over, he'll go away and study it, and he'll think about what it was about his positioning, the team, you know, the decisions he made, what caused that turnover. And as a handler, that's so valuable to have somebody of that quality. Now Ireland have the disc back. Murray, Donald Murray, and down to McAuliffe, who's on the floor. Fast rising disc from Donnell Murray into Kavanagh. He has it back again. Oh, it just popped out of the hands of the 24-shirt Fergus. McAuliffe could not contain it.
GB's D-line offense going to go work now, trying to get the first break of this game. Tried to end it all in one go, and Early had other ideas.
Early looking to increase his assist count straight away, but has to settle for a reset to Donald Murray in the midfield. Irish legs looking a little tired out there now, but Peter Ford has made himself available. Back to Murray again, into the space. Ford chasing down, but it hit the turf.
Just seemed to roll off his fingertips. Couldn't ever quite get them around it.
I say turf. What I mean is beautiful Portuguese sand.
It's not bad, is it?
And a very sensible timeout call from Mathieu Pujula.
Yeah, seeing that things are... GB Dealer offense was not moving very effectively at all. Kind of didn't know what they wanted to do, so taking the time out to calm things down a bit.
Very, very wise.
So we've seen Mark early have a very pronounced effect early in this game. He's got 3 of Ireland's 4 assists, and he's their leading stat collector going into this game as well. In their 3 games so far, he's got 13 assists, an average of just over 4 a game, and a couple of goals as well. Rory Kavanagh, not a surprise, their main goal scorer, with 8 goals going into this contest and 3 assists. GB, obviously, they've only had a couple of games, but they're a bit more spread out. Jamie Cross and David Povey are their 2 main stat getters. Chris Whittle's not far behind. Everyone pretty much responsible for something on the stat sheet, so a lot more spread out on that team.
And the Masters always bringing a big entourage with them. The Great Britain Masters bringing 4 wives, 2 fiancés and 4 children to support them on the beach this week.
Now, if this was football, wouldn't we be talking about, oh, what effect are the lags having on players?
Thank goodness it isn't football.
Thank goodness. The more the merrier, that's what I say.
Yeah. Povey was asked, you know, who's the big rival that Great Britain Masters face coming into this tournament, and he says everyone. Masters is often a wide open tournament, as you never know who's playing on each team until you get there. Having played and lost to Ireland at Driftwood, we will be out to set that straight in Tuesday's show game, and here they are on the stream for you all to watch. Lots more action from the beach this week. If you are watching, do click the thumbs up button. Take the link and pop it in your social. If you've got friends who play Ultimate, let them know there's live Ultimate from the Portugal beaches all week. And if you've got friends who've never seen it,
yeah, what better opportunity to showcase the sport than the beautiful surroundings of the Praia da Rocha here in Portimao, Portugal.
back into the game, this men's Masters division. A big disc goes up into the air, flying high over the head of Mark Garbers. Nothing he could do other than watch it die ahead of him and into the wind.
Sam Luxer guilty of the turn out there, the turnover straight out of the timeout. And I just think, knowing what the conditions are, I'm surprised that the play that they would choose to draw up would be an immediate huck D. If you're going to do it, you've got to get it more to this near sideline first, so the wind will take it back on the path you really want it to go.
I wonder if that was the intended target or just the only option that the Irish left them after closing them down. Dix comes back in with early, cutting hard now, Donnell Murray. Straight across to Fergus McAuliffe. Kavanagh, low release, rises with the wind, but Murray collects. Murray's looking downfield. 6'4", Fergus McAuliffe is available. The disc goes across to Kavanagh as the target's again on the edge of the end zone. He collects it. What a disc from Donnell Murray. They level it up at 5 apiece. What a game we've got here.
Kavanagh is a goal machine. That's his third already, and we're still early on in this contest at 5-all. Over half of Ireland's goals have gone his way, and they just haven't found a way to stop him deep. That time, though, it did require a slightly spectacular throw from Donnell Murray to get the job done, blading it across the pitch and well read, held up just enough for Kavanagh to make that catch towards that far side of that end zone.
Yeah, it's hard to see how they can contain the 33 shirt. He's so quick. Currently based in Barcelona, his home city of Dublin, 33-year-old.
So interestingly, he lists his motor on the field as offensive handler. On watching this, I would say maybe revise that.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen him near the disc. Well, he's been making cuts from deep to take the disc when the stall count's been getting high, but I don't think I've seen him initiate a single play.
Certainly not from the handle spot. It's a very deep ball which Stubbs makes that clap catch, and he finds Cross. Offense taking a little bit of time to initiate, trying to find Kaiser isolated in the middle. Cut comes across now.
Great Britain moving the disc well. Onto the sideline now. This is a play from the textbook. Jamie Cross continues that cut, just motoring on. Short, snappy steps across the sand. Have to come back now, but Stubbs makes himself available. That turn of pace catches people out, and he is into that corner. And another good hold for Great Britain. Their O-line have only been turned over once in this game so far. They're doing really great work.
The Ireland O-line's giving GB more chances, but they haven't been able to take them. You mentioned Stubbs obviously being surprisingly fleet of foot. I think people see that kind of stocky frame, and especially with his prowess as a thrower, assume that he's probably not gonna score any. But he gets more goals than you think. He's only got one. He only had one coming into this game to go with 4 assists. But across the course of a tournament, he does rack up a few.
Well, so the big stat here at the moment is Great Britain's D-line have had 4 chances to get Brox and have converted none of them. Irish recovery work from their O-line has been really solid. But if the D-line are going to have an impact on this game, they're taking the disc off the Irish, but they've got to score with it.
Very slow chasing down that ball. It's going to give the Irish a chance to get their offense set without any real pressure, but there's nothing coming. Nice IO break to start it.
McKenna. Too early, it was too early, but it's going to be diving in the sand. Great Britain with a chance for a break. First break of the game, they could pull it off here. Povey looks down the line. Zamora had made a good cut, a little bit too early maybe. Povey in the inside shot, finds Cooper, but Zamora's cutting in the end zone. He's going to have to come out of there again. Northcote available. Cooper across the pitch. Quick pass to Sandell. Sandell going to be sending it back. Difficult shot to Povey. Flicks it across to Northcote, who takes it down. The D-line have started to get their ball rolling, taking it from capitalising on an Irish mistake, and that's the first break of the game.
Early left that swing pass for Cox, and he wasn't alert to it. Not the most graceful catch for the break by Northcote, catching it right up by his face, but he did get it to stick, and that's the important thing. See it on the replay here. Sandell, a little bit awkward switching that grip, but he is able to get that swing off to Povey. Little fake low through the legs, gets him off balance, and then finds that around rolling shot to Northcutt. Makes the catch up by his specs for the goal. And GB with the first break of the game, taking a 7-5 lead, and they're going to switch sides here as we take the half time.
Yeah, half at 25 minutes.
Or at 7, as we've also got.
Oh, also 7, yeah.
Double half time.
And that's exactly what Great Britain would have wanted to do. Ireland are going to come out on offence anyway, but if the Irish had scored their offensive point, they then come out with a chance to level it up, whereas this way, it's a very different situation. So Irish would have come out with a chance to take the lead, wouldn't they?
They would have done. So they were they able to get a break, or yeah, kind of keep it close. I want to mention Stefan Sandel for a second. One of these players who's come to the UK from elsewhere, originally from Fiji, so maybe possibly the first Fijian to play here at the European Beach Ultimate Championships. He's only been playing for 3 years, so it's great to see a player from which is somewhere that's not an ultimate nation and with little experience under his belt represent his country so early in his ultimate career.
Kavanagh moving the disc well to Keeley. Keeley down the line to Donnell Murray. Murray back to Kavanagh. Kavanagh is now handling. Back to Early. Early shoots down the line. Oh, what great play. Rob Keeley is the reception. Early adding to his stats count. That's his 4th assist of the game. Let's go, Whittle.
He is all over the stat sheet, stuffing that assist box. I'll make that 17 for the tournament when you add together the 13 that he's already got going into this game. Just about keeping up his average of a little over 4 a game. As practice probably going to increase it the way that their offense is playing, and mostly running through Early's hands and running very efficiently.
Yeah, they seem to get their energy from the rest of the team. I mean, Kavanagh in particular, in the 33 shirt, Rory Kavanagh has been explosive and very, very difficult for Great Britain to contain. But when the disc comes back into Mark Early's hands, that's when they look really dangerous. He's got the ability to put it either pinpoint from a distance or just laser the disc down the line, no hesitation, and real confidence about the way he's throwing out there at the moment.
Having a very, very good game for the Irish, it has to be said.
Jamie Cross for Great Britain, men's Masters side.
Looked like a bit of zone from Ireland here.
Force them towards the sideline. Stops, combining with Kaiser. Kaiser sends it. It's going to be flying high. Just couldn't hang up long enough. Chris Hill has to watch it.
Yeah, too much juice on that pass. Just overthrew it. The option was there, but it's a difficult level of execution on that shot. And Chris Hill, who has an interesting nickname that we can't repeat on the stream, couldn't bring that one in.
Chris Hill, ex-Nottingham University. I think I coached him at one point. Big bid from McKenna, could not grab onto it, and it's a turnover.
So there was only the second time Ireland's D-line have had the disc, and they've given it back on the first pass.
It shows a lot about the determination the Great Britain O-line have shown in fighting hard to get that. Somebody come out of the end zone. Jamie Cross signalling with the hands. Whittle has it now. Jamie looking for that return pass. Stobbs darting around. He's got the disc onto the break side and into the end zone they go. Brilliant work from Kaiser combining with Stobbs and Cross.
Yeah, their end zone offense probably not as fluid as they would have liked. They didn't have the opening shot when Stobbs picked up the disc, but they did the right thing. They reset it back in the middle again. Saw that they were maybe too focused on trying to score, and actually there was a lot of space in front of the end zone they should have attacked. Whittle eventually did that, and they dished it off and worked it around with some classic dump swing, hitting Kaiser eventually for the goal. We see here Whittle looks upfield but doesn't like what he sees, does the right thing, turns, isolates, stops, and just a nice little continuation. Case is right at the front of the zone for the easy goal.
Yeah, I mean, what they had to do there is not a surprise to anybody. If you're stuck in that red zone and you don't have an option in, you do have to dump and swing. But it was Jamie Cross realised that the team weren't in the right place to execute that, so he signalled to them to come out of the end zone, make some space, and they worked it around, reset it, got it in the right spot, pumped it in.
That's the trap. If you're only focused on looking at the end zone, you're giving yourself you're giving yourself less space to work with. There's actually enough space in front of the end zone there. They could still get it under and work the disc from there.
Well, the sun has gone in. Oh, and then it just comes out again.
Prefer it when it's out.
A beautiful scenery here in the Algarve European Beach Ultimate Championships. The party in Portimao continues.
You're really trying to get that to stick up.
It is sticking. Rory Kavanagh sets off at a pace. They've seen him go, but he's going to come back underneath. Early sees him. He looks that off. Now uses Kavanagh. Pop a quick disc down to Al Murray. Oh, it's unfortunate. Rob Keeley just took his eye off the disc as he came close to it. Mac Early now looking to play some defense. Povey sends one flying into the wind. Sandell chasing this down. Can he get underneath it? Oh, it's a great bit of defense from Al Murray. Occupied the space. Nothing Sandell could do to get on the end of that.
I will say he got a bit closer than I thought he would, but there was definitely a swing to Cooper on this near side, which he didn't scarcely look at.
That's a poor choice from Early. It's caught in the wind, and I think the wind is moving around. It's coming more from the back of us now. It was straight down from right to left down the field. A call has been made.
Foul on the throw. Certainly we've seen with the quality of Early's throwing already, it did seem a little bit of a surprise that wasn't able to bring that one more under his control. And Whittle just getting a little bit close there on the mark.
It's Povey on the mark. The two of them having a
Povey
conversation.
on the mark. Excuse me.
They were marking each other. Quick conversation is what we're after here.
We're just talking.
Mark Early, you can hear on our field mic just saying we're just talking. We just want to make sure it's right.
Going to be a contested foul in the end, but the disc will stay with Early for the Irish.
They don't always have to agree. The rules of Ultimate, even though if you're new to the sport, there are no referees, there's no officials of any type. We have some scorekeepers who just write down the scores, but all the decisions are taken by the players on the field.
Yeah, the players are the refs.
Ford downfield, and it dives into the sand. 77 shirt of Ford holding his arm there, maybe some contact made, nothing called.
Yeah, you feel, especially at master level, they know if there is contact, they know when it's a foul and when it's not. So maybe he thought there was contact but it was incidental, or maybe just unhappy with the way he released that disc. Maybe he felt something twinge in his arm. At any rate, there's no call, and Povey's going to pick it back up here for the GBD line. There's a swing towards the far side for Garbers.
This is the two big handlers, Povey versus Early, as Northcote has it now. Povey's asking for it back. It's been sent to Sandell, who's read it well, and contact all over the back of Kavanagh, uncontested. No contest at all from Rory Kavanagh. Sandell had a good bid on that, but
he had it in his hand for a bit as well, and just maybe felt the contact on his back from Kavanagh, and that caused him to make that drop.
Sandell has it, a big march as the pivot comes out, and it's taken a blow from Rob Keeley. Again, no malice. Just Keeley trying to chase into the end zone, and Sandell accepts the apology, dumps back to Cooper. Cooper to Northcote. Nottingham connection being made there. Back to Cooper again. Cooper's got Povey running into the end zone. Sandell's coming out. He's playing a big part in this point. Cooper's cutting. Povey goes to the knees to keep the disc alive. Cooper again. Oh, that's a great disc from Povey. Celebrates with a big air punch well-deserved point for Great Britain.
Nice use of what we like to call the Oyo throw. So it's the outside, inside out. You're using that inside out channel, but using the outside in throw. Often because it's a little bit easier or a quicker release, you can just kind of pivot out and put it there rather than having to try and get low and angle it across.
Second break of the game for Great Britain, and with points either side of the half, they now lead this one 9-6. Will they make up for their loss to this Irish side that they took at Driftwood? The tournament, both these teams played as a warm-up for the tournament.
The GB offense on that D-line did stagnate for a little bit there, but did a very good job of Clay Sandell turning around and isolating that reset and Povey, and then he got this throw through. So the thing I think that I've seen a couple of the GB players do is when they've got the disc, they haven't, there's nothing to develop, and they haven't necessarily got this disc in a neutral position, ready to throw from both angles. They've kind of got it, they're favouring one side, or it's kind of tilted slightly upside down. It means that when a card does develop, you're just taking a little bit more baggage to try and get that ready to throw, rather than having the disc in a neutral position, so you can get the disc released quickly.
Tips from Benji Rees, alongside myself, Tom Stiles. And we've got one more game today here on the live stream, which is going to be Russia versus Germany in the mixed division.
I'm very excited for that one. I'll be watching that one with you guys in the stands. Tom and Hannah in the booth for that final game of the day.
Seamus Murray, a block for Great Britain. Chance for 3 points in a row. Quick movement, front of the end zone. Gets it back around. So Bampton trying to find a way through, flows over the top, it tips off the fingertips and into the sand.
I think likes to put his hands up, knows that's on him. He had just had more time than that, tried to take it quickly, not let the wind affect it, but in the end he just had the time to wait and got Seamus Murray got very lucky there after that flick came very awkwardly out of his hand on the previous possession.
That's a nice disc down the line to Murray. Disc down the line to Cox. It's touched the top of Cox's hands, and then it's going to Fergus McAuliffe, who's laid out. Zamora claiming it's down. I'm going to see the replay from here. Let's have a look if we can get a view on this. There's the touch into the sand. The hand looked like he was underneath it, but did he have full control, Benji?
This is the question. I think that Zamora is saying that he had the hand, but he didn't get control, especially with that top hand, until the disc hit the sand.
You can't use the sand as a catching aid. You've got to stop the rotation of the disc and have control before it touches the sand.
You can see a couple of players crowding around this near camera here, maybe trying to get a second look at a replay. In the end, they're going to take McAuliffe's word for it that he got his hand underneath it, and my gut instinct was that was
Here we go,
Al,
get going deep, Al, get going deep!
Dump back to Kane across the field. First time we've seen Kane with the disc in hand, and Zamora spikes that disc into the sand.
Miscommunication with McAuliffe as the wind really needs to whip up now. A break here for GB would probably put this game on ice.
Luxa, one of the assistant to Dave Povey in the preparation for this tournament. Disc is ripped across from Bampton into the sand.
And that was not a good throw, Tom.
No, I think we've all made mistakes like that. And Joe Bampton's made it on the live stream in front of several thousand
Speak for
people.
yourself. I'm flawless. I don't think there's any footage of me turning over anywhere.
Very little
Don't look into that. Don't look into that.
A timeout called by Seamus Murray. And a chance to reflect on the beautiful scenery we're surrounded by. Myself and Benji and our statistician Brian arrived 2 nights ago, and we're greeted with some of the most beautiful scenery and hotel accommodation that we've ever had at a Frisbee tournament before.
I will say that they've done I don't think I've I mean, I wouldn't complain anyway. If we were a cardboard box, I'd be like, well, at least they put it up for us. But they've done a fantastic job here, actually, and I could probably fit in a cardboard box as well if it was big enough. But they've done a fantastic job here looking after us, as well as obviously the organising team. All of the volunteers, you'll probably see them around in the stands with their fluorescent yellow shirts. They do a fantastic job looking after us and all the teams here this week, and as well as not just us as well, but our full Ulti TV crew as well, doing a fantastic job underneath in our little media booth and on the cameras as well.
Our executive producer watching online in the USA and keeping a watchful eye on us all over here, Tim Rockwood, keeping the coverage quality high for all of you wherever you are. Hope you're enjoying what we're able to bring you from the beach. And if you'd like to say thanks, the best way you can say thanks is by clicking the thumbs up button whatever you're watching it on at the moment in your player of choice, and put a comment in there, and also take the link and share it on your social, wherever it's Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, Snapchat, or...
And we mentioned that there's one more game today, but as well as being a full week of Ultimate playing all the way through to Saturday here, that obviously as soon as the games are finished, they're on YouTube for you to watch back at your leisure. So if you want to, you can, if there's a particular game that you enjoy and you want to recommend with a friend, it's going to be there for posterity. And we've got a couple of highlight reels and top clips coming out periodically as well, so there's plenty of ways to let people know about the spectacular spectacle that is the European Beach Ultimate Championships 2019.
The game's back on down here. Alan Harding with the tap in. Big defensive cover from him, but the disc does manage to make its way across to Corey Cox.
Thought there was a bit of an opportunity there for a bid by Luxor and maybe a Callahan, but he just couldn't quite get his feet set for it.
Cox with a huge arm opens it up and spreads the play far into the end zone. Huge bid for the to try and get the defense, but it could not stop Irish hands wrapping around the disc. Seamus Murray goes to turf, but Donnell Murray, that's the brother-brother connection into the end zone for the point for Ireland.
That point started so badly for Seamus Murray with that flick that just came really awkwardly out of his hands, but what a way to end it, laying out for the score. Ireland reducing the deficit 10-6. You kind of feel this later on would have been pretty difficult to recover from, but 9-7, Ireland still very much in this game.
Yeah, Donnell Murray, reaching up and catching that big grab from Cork, 34-year-old, and most of the time he plays his ultimate with Rebel.
So I think he was one of these players who was on the University College Cork team that won the UKU University Nationals in 2013. And as a result, Irish teams have never been allowed back at UKU Nationals since.
Are those two things connected?
They will tell you that it's because of BUCS that Ireland weren't allowed to be there, and the idea was that Irish teams were preventing other teams from winning various BUCS points and whatever. But I think if you ask many university students, we'd quite enjoy the Irish teams coming over. But I think BUCS kind of, it was a little bit unfair for certain teams, depending on when you played the Irish. Could have prevented you from getting a higher tournament position. Not that I have any inherent bias in this at all.
Obviously not.
No. Oh, what a pull that is from Ireland. Right at the back, and it's just going to touch that back tape.
It's very difficult once the disc does get rolling. When it's rolling downwind, and it's sort of a crosswind now, blowing away from the camera and slightly from right to left. Stobbs and Povey setting up in the front of the end zone line and quickly moving the disc to Kaiser. Kaiser back to Stobbs. Whittle available on this near side. Cross coming out of the stack and takes it midfield. Povey's gone deep. Povey's been looked off. Stobbs cutting up the line. Look at the pace of David Stobbs as he charges downfield. The disc has gone over the head of Povey. Whittle sweeps it up. And back to Povey now, right in the danger zone, into the end zone. And Povey celebrates. Great Britain celebrate. They extend their lead again to 3 points, and it's 10-7.
Lots of hugs going on, so...
I think that's actually game, isn't it? The whistle went during the last point, and that is the game for Great Britain. They've beaten Ireland. Redemption for their loss at Driftwood in the preparation for this tournament. And the team in white victorious.
I think over the balance of the game, it's probably a fair result. GB's offense looked a lot slicker, a lot fewer turnovers than their Irish counterparts. They will obviously be disappointed at the break conversion ratio. Only converted 2 out of 9 opportunities.
Yeah, I think that's where the that's where the team have really struggled. But you've got to give props to Mark Early, Donnell Murray, for all of the 7 points came from the hands of those two players. Rory Kavanagh making a big impact early on in the game with his deep cuts and threat down there. But great play. Like I said, we'll be back shortly with the mixed game, a real highlight. It's the 1 versus 2 seed, Germany mixed versus Russia mixed. Do come back and watch that with us. That's coming on in about 12 minutes time. Until then, myself, Tom Stiles, and Benji Rees, and the whole Ulti TV crew wishing you a pleasant afternoon. Do join us very, very shortly.
TV.